discussing about cash and cash equivalent. Right? So now almost 30, right? So then I'm waiting 8:10 is 5 by 8 p.m. The time is very important, very useful, right? Okay. We are discussing about cash and cash equivalent. Then we had a discussion about this and we went through kind of a bank reconciliation. We understood that what are the unusual items over there. So that today we are going to discuss about what are the set of procedures related to cash and cash equivalent, right? Normally once we are discussing about this cash, it's a kind of a common balance. Consistent cash in hand, demand deposit plus cash equivalent. This is the whole definition of cash and cash equivalent, right? So then that's will impacted cash receipt, payments, cash receipts and payments, cash receipts and payments, and then this consider accessions of existence of takers, annulation, and an obligation, and then a disclosure. Basically, we consider the case 9, cash flow. The standard figure. This is the background we should know, right? About cash. With this understanding, we are going to discuss about audit procedures. Basically, we are discussing about audit procedures. We are discussing about TOC plus substantive procedures. So then, this will be decided based on audit approach. According to the audit approach, 100%, most of the cases, we do reliance control approach. TOC plus substantive procedures. The reason is cash is the core transaction area. Whatever the transaction we do through cash, as organization, it should have kind of a good process, good controls around cash balance. It means we are having a good control design and implementation and operation. Then as auditor, what you can do is easily you can do reliance control approach rather than doing a through substantive approach. Why? Within a year you may have more than many transactions around about receipts and payments. So then as auditor, you can't do full substantive approach. Why? If you are selecting sample, let's say selecting 50 sample, you are having like 1 million transactions. Selecting 50 sample. It's not covering, right? Practically it's not Practically, it's not possible to do full substantive approach to cash. It's a basic understanding. What you have to do is, as a practical auditor, you should select our design control approach. Okay. Right. So then if you are selecting the line control approach, what you have to do? We have completed walkthrough. We know that we selected the line control approach based on the CRA. Line control approach, we are going to do TOC. Now we are going to check cash related TOC. Then what is the step? Then we need to reassess the CRA. Based on this CRA, we are getting scope. What will we do substantive procedures? What will we prepare the SAT? What will we issue the audit meeting? It's the process. The audit process, right? When you give part of the see what else can part. The audit processes. එහෙම තමයි අපි ඔඩිට් කරගෙන යන්නේ. ඒ සෑඩ් එක හදාන්නේ. ස්කෝප් එක කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? ඔයාලා දැනට දැනගෙන තියෙනවා. CR එක රීඇසස් කරලා එතනින් හරි හරි CR එක අප්ඩේට් කරලා ඒ අප්ඩේට් කරපු CR එක බේස් කරලා තමයි ස්කෝප් එක ගන්න. දැනට වැඩ කරනවා. ස්කෝප් එක කියන්නේ සබ්ස්ටැන්ඩඩ් ප්‍රොසීජර්ස් ඉන් ස්කෝප්. ඒක ස්කෝප් එක බේස් කරලා තමයි සාම්පල් සිලෙක්ට් කරන්නේ. Scope to mention maybe 10% of P in the minimum, 50% of P. Maybe the my scope to inside. Make the my scope bigger, then substantive procedures better. Then the local scope is more make it. Is it easy? Yeah. Understanding the content. So the scope can scope ready. Five to thirty scope ready. Udah pada kerana. Jadi kita orang ini arut masnya kalau orang sih, ini udah ada. Mana kan datanya ada lebih ada. Masnya jauh. Wah, mana itu? Itu di dalam dah ada. Hey, ada yang manusia aneh. Ada manusia kekalahan aneh. Yang mana kita? Yang mana kita mau? So basically, once you are dealing with TOC, now we know we are going to do reliable control approach. And based on TOC, basically we have to go through payment receipt related controls. Then whatever the company, they are having different controls around payments and receipts. It may be IT related controls, approval related controls, manual controls, maybe kind of a approval hierarchy, system receipt numbers, system payment vouchers. So that we can't say that this is the exact process. That depends on the company complexity. Then whatever the cash related controls in a bank may be different with the manufacturing company, right? Because it's a hotel, because it's a kind of a government, right? Different controls based on the nature of the company. एक වෙනස් වෙනවා food city එකත් කාගේ සුපර් මාකට් එකත් වගේ ගමේ අංකල් කෙනෙක් කඩයක් කරනවා නම් පෙට්ටි කඩයක් ඒක මොකද කරන්නේ? එයා ඒක කෑෂ් එහෙම කන්ට්‍රෝල් එකක් නැහැ නේද? එයා මේ පේමන්ට් කරන්නේ එයා සල්ලි ගන්නෙත් එයා. goods measure කරලා එයාට දෙන්නෙත් එයා සල්ලි ගන්නෙත් එයා. මේක sole proprietorship. pharmacy එක. සාමාන්‍ය ලොකු pharmacy එක medicine issue කරන්න එකනේ cash ගන්න තව එකේ. ලොකු සුපර් මාකට් එකක්. sorry. restaurant එකක් ගත්තා. cam order කරලා payment එක කරලා තව දැනකට යනවා. Then in a cash related area we have normally kind of a dual control. Right? Another thing is once you are collecting cash, at the cashier point you are having CCTV, and once you are having kind of a physical cash, there should be kind of a cash insurance, right? Money transit insurance or kind of insurance for the local. So whatever the cash you are holding, we have a group insurance. Insurance coverage is there. So then that type of preventive detective controls are there around the cash processing organization. So then as an auditor, we need to look at this type of control mechanism in organization, right? Right. So then you have to go through some processes and understand different industries. So then you should be able to suggest some of the controls, and as auditor, you have to check these type of controls. Once you are having a control, you can decide how you are going to check that. Example is equal to that, right? Basically, cash payment receipt related controls, and then reconciliation process and approval. We know that reconciliation, bank reconciliation process and approval is a kind of a detective control. So bank reconciliation is what identify when මොනවාගේ දේවල්. Already a issue එක වෙලා ඉවරයි. මේව තමයි bank reconciliation. The detective control, right? So then in organization we should have a team to prepare bank reconciliation. Some of the cases we can prepare the bank reconciliation system itself. It means that auto reconciliation process may be there, manual process may be there. So then once you are having that process, definitely you should focus about the number of transactions during the period. Some of the accounts we don't have much transactions, right? Some of the accounts we need to prepare daily reconciliation. Why? Our main operation related to that particular account. If it is so, we are having daily transactions. If you are wait until the month end or weekend, maybe it's really difficult to reconcile. Some of the deposits, customer deposit, we have given the number. Once they are putting their cash to the account, they are not giving exact details. So then they are really difficult to match whatever the payments to the receipt. You should have a mechanism to understand the customer details, right? Likewise, we should have proper process, reconciliation process and approval process. and cache number and dual control keys. So in the area we are using cache, that should be safety. Safety place should be there to keep cache, maybe cache locker or safety locker, or we need to have kind of CCTV mechanism, and then you know that once you are having kind of cashier, that area always covered. Anyone can't go behind that, right? So then whatever the bank or whatever the cashier, it's kind of a covered area. Anyone, customer or some other person can't go behind the cashier. So that's how they lay out that process with the security measures. And then petty cache management. So the main cache and petty cache should be divided, and there should be a separate person for petty cache, right? Normally, cash payment related controls. Basically, you have kind of centralized controls. Cash receipt related controls, decentralized. That's the nature of a large organization. Cash payment related, centralized. Cash receipt related, decentralized most of the cases. Cash related controls. Payment related centralized. Receipt related decentralized. Get the local organization. Payment cash outflow. But there's no such a larger risk than payment. Payment එක ගියොත් ඒක කම්පැනි එක loss එක. Payment කරනවා හරි authorized team එක. ඒ කියන්නේ cash receipt කරන කට්ටිය ඉන්න දැන් තමයි payment කරන කට්ටියක් ඉන්නවා නම් ඒක වෙනවද? ඒ කියන්නේ receiving එක පුළුවන් payment එක ඉන්න ගැටි සිද්ධ branch එකට දැන් visa deal supermarket. Cash receipt කරනවා. Payment කරන්නේ යාළුවනේ. Payment කරන්නේ බැහැ. Payment කරන්නේ database එකකින් කරනවා. Overall share order කරලා payment එක database එකෙන් කරලා process කරනවා. ඒකට යාළුවා කරන්නේ බැහැ. යාළුවා share system එකේ දානකොට payment එක process කරනවා. යාළුවා individual business කරන්න බැහැ. Insurance company එකක් ගත්තා premium receipt decentralized. Premium ගන්න decentralized. Branch level කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ මෙවන ඉන්ටර්ප්‍රෙසෙන්ට් loan බලන්න bank loan සාමාන්‍ය cash receipt deposit කරන්න පුළුවන් මොකද නැති. දැන් පුළුවන් මොකද නැති. cash ගන්න පුළුවන් ATM එකේ. centralized කරලා තියෙන ATM එකේ. loan එකක් වගේ cash එකක් ගන්න ඕනේ. cash එකක් ඕන deposit කරන්න පුළුවන් bank එකේ. payment we have secured the controls. Meanwhile, that. And GL posting approval. Cash GL posting approval. GL posting. GL posting very important. Once you are having receipt or payment, fund transfer, check payment, whatever the payment related to cash, this should be updated to the GL on time. Whatever the relevant cash payment receipt for the period should be updated to the GL. Then only you are having kind of a exact cash and cash equivalent position as at the reporting date. The cash transaction should be recorded to the GL on time. So then this GL posting depends on the company nature. Approval and the bank approval then bank approval then ATM transaction ATM transaction payment receipt approval then ATM में जावे इधर approval लेके बैंक නැත්නම් මෙහෙම කියන්නේ කෑෂ් ආව පේමන්ට් සුද්ධිය ATM එකේ. බැංක් එක සෙට් කරලා තියෙන GL එක ගන්න ඇප්‍රූවල් එකක් ගන්න. පේමන්ට් එක යනකොට ඇප්‍රූවල් එකක් නැහැ. GL එක යනකොට ඇප්‍රූවල් එකක්. ඒතකොට බලන්නකෝ කොච්චර ට්‍රාන්සැක්ෂන් ගන්නක ඇප්‍රූව් කරලා GL එකට යවන්න. It is not practical, right? So then based on the nature of the company, that may be automated. For the ATM transaction, ATM payment, GL updated normally may banking automated. Time will attach. In the second, it will update to the GL. So then whatever the cash payment receipt as at the 11th hour of the December 9th, if we updated to the particular financial year, it won't be go to the next financial year, right? There's no time lag. That should be there. So then that's the requirement of GL posting approval. So then approval load IT dependent control should be tested according to the company nature. So then those are the controls we need to discuss about cash and cash equivalent. So then that is kind of those are type of common, very common controls that may vary with the company nature. Based on the case study, based on the issue, that may be changed. This is the basic understanding about controls. These are the types of controls you need to check as an auditor. So then you should know how you are going to check GL posting, petty cash management, and bank reconciliation, local. So local Google control control so then for dual control, key management registration, each and every day sign color. System making update key management. Then likewise, CCTV monitoring CCTV record. Likewise, you should have proper process to proper understanding about the controls to evaluate the TOC. Right? That's the requirement. Right. Abhi TOC done. We are moving to substantive procedures. Substantive procedures. After TOC, PSS CRA, based on this scope, you are starting substantive procedures. Normally, most of the companies they are having reliable control process in cash. Why? Management also having kind of an inherent risk related to cash. Because of that, they are putting very strong controls around the cash process. Cash process. Because of that, most of the cases, we can happy about the controls around the cash process. That's the general understanding. So with that understanding, you are studying substantive procedures. Substantive procedures. Under substantive procedures, you have to focus two things: cash in hand, cash at different places. Cash in hand, cash at different places. Cash in hand, what you have to do is you have to do the physical cash count. Okay? Simple. Cash in different places. Maybe short-term demand deposit, savings account, and other commercial papers, treasury bills. All those things, short-term investments, what you have to do is you have to call confirmation from outside parties. Call confirmation, call direct confirmation is the key audit procedure. Key audit confirmation, all audit confirmations, right? So you know that do you know about this process? Financial statement of financial position, we have a cash balance, 50,000, 50,000, make a down in year again 50,000. As per TB 50,000 plus 10,000, you can then reconciliation. And reconciliation, make a another people here. Prepare it. The reconciliation, then another company. But so then you are going to call confirmation. A confirmation call from the bank. Once you are calling confirmation, you are getting the confirmation from the bank confirming which balance, this balance or this balance. Balance. Confirmation will be tallied with this balance. Right? Confirmation log will say that this tallied with the bank statement balance. So then you need to verify this. You need to check the accuracy of this. Accuracy of this. So then you are ending in this balance. You want to get confirmed about this balance. First, you need to get a confirmation for this balance, right? And then you need to verify this balance, ensure the accuracy, you can derive to this balance. And then you can say that here balance is correct, cash and cash equivalent balance is correct. So then once you are giving this audit opinion, you are satisfied with the cash. That's the way you need to do, right? So then, police confirmation is the first task. Once you are having that calling confirmation, you need to call direct confirmations, right? And you should tally with the uh, bank statement balance, and then other in between that we have reconciling items to ensure that whether these are correct or not, and then can arrive to this balance. That depends on the whether you have reconciling item or not. Otherwise, this will tally with this. So once you are calling confirmation, keep in mind you need to call confirmation directly from the bank, right? Before you are calling confirmation, definitely you need to get authority letter from the management. Why? An authority letter should be included the authority person's signatures. Otherwise, bank won't give the direct confirmation to an auditor. So then what you should have is there should be a separate letter including the signatures given to the bank. So after verifying that only they are confirming directly to the confirmation to the auditors. Keep in mind. That's called authentication letter. Without authentication letter, you have to request the bank confirmation. Right. Checking bank reconciliation. Checking bank reconciliation. Last week we did check the bank reconciliation, right? You have to have your skepticism, so they need to focus. And then cash count. Cash count is another counting activity. Basically, you don't want to participate to the count. What you have to do is you have to observe the count, right? What they are doing, what are the controls they have, is that accurate or not? That should be verified. The way you do the cash count is totally different with the company nation, right? While they are doing cash count and they are doing bank cash count. They are doing cash count. Howling, kilogram. So they are cash count and they are doing cash count. Bank cash count and machine. Cash count and machine. Bank count. දේවාලේ ඇවරේජ් එකක් තියෙනවා සාවරත තියෙන්නේ දෙකේ කාශ විතරයි මම ඒකාශ විතරයි මේ විතරද මෙන්න අපි භක්තිය පුරුදු කරාට භක්තිය ගණන් කරන්නේ නෑ ඒක භක්තියද ශ්‍රද්ධාවද කියලා සෙපරේට් කරගන්න ඕනේ ඒ නිසා මේ මොකද එක්ස්පෙක්ට් කරලා මේක පොයින්ට් ගන්නකොට මාදාල දෙනවා ඒවලේ නෑ පොඩි ජොලියක් ගන්න පුළුවන් සංගාර සාධ්‍යයක් තියෙනවනේ. ඒක පොඩි තුනක් වෙනවා. ඊට එහා මුදුත් දෙන්නේ නැහැ බලන්න. දෙන්නේ ඉවර වෙන්නේ. වෙන්නේ නැහැ වෙලක් නැහැ. ඉස්සරහට වෙන්නේ. whatever the religion. Whatever the religion. මොනවාරි ඒවා වෙනවා කියලා හිතනොත් නෑ. ඒක ඉස්සරහම නැහැ කරලා ඉස්සරහ. දෙයක්. ඒවා spiritual mental shift එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක ඉන්නවනම් අපිට ඒකට real world එකකට දුන්නා. So again expectation එක හරිද? deal එක. ඒක නැතුව අපි මෙහෙම කරා. ඒකට දාන්න මේකෙන් අර ඒකට කියන පුරුෂම වලට සිත තමයි ප්‍රධාන. ඒක තමයි පිටකේ කමනවා දාන්න. Doa kita making that salary itu gala orang kerja education kerja they are making current so then because of that we are giving this even that to api okay master dan kerja lebih berdarah expect kerana maka modal yang very dia lah ini lagi ini maintain මේක හොඳ දෙයකට යූස් කරන්න. ඉතින් presentation is what indirectly blessing we have to but then that there's no feel around that. How can we relate to person realize it? Right? They are really as online you don't have a physical cash. Then you don't want to do kind of a physical cash facilities. Then you have the exact balance. You don't have physical cash. There's no cash not to be found. Some of the companies, yes, you have checking hand balances. There's certain checks, right? Checking hand is a cash. Checking hand balances, we may have two types of checks. Some of the checks post-dated checks. Post-dated checks are not checking hand balance. Post-dated checks, we have to separate bills. Eight checks are not the customer will the bill. The post-dated check is not a cash in hand. Right? It is a kind of a, it's not asset. It's an off-balance sheet, kind of a contingent asset. Post-dated checks. They have given to us, we have a record, on that date we are going to put it to the cash. But it depends on the realization of the check. If it is getting not realized, so that it can be returned, right? Then based on the availability of cash, different conditions, right? Then if you evaluate that as, you need to recognize cash. Until that, it is not a cash in your mind, right? That's about cash count. Cash count and the different practical technique used to cash count, cash count cash count cash count cash kita kali yang elevate that seal or some cash and itu or then I don't know yang yields and cash count commercial bank cash count ini udah cash gitu bundle dia orang kemudian cash lagi dengan ada cash kita kali ada dua yang elevate atau seal करना तो उन्होंने जन्म दिया है तो हम कुछ डिस्कस कर रहे हैं तो इन्वेस्टमेंट है और बस हम बोलते हैं और इतना मार्केट कैश सेल करना है हम बड़ा नहीं है ये देखिए यार हेल्थ भी हो ना पाया इतना डे देखिए सही नहीं लोग की कैश Dengan kali nanti itu ibarat saja, ini untuk cash juga. Berapa? Counter itu untuk cash juga. Ada yang sudah value cash. Yang kedua, those other more techniques you can use for cash count. Yes, cash count. Yes, kalau ini sama harus update saja dia tu, sama bersekali ini cash dia, beri cash dia tu, itu namanya betul. Jadi information back, dia proper separation. sama ada petty cash के payment के month end के personal account के क्या ini kita क्या gain है क्या personal बिल कर रहा मैं itu juga pengen petty cash itu petty cash handle करने खातिर है control parameter company company के resignation लेते हैं खाली petty cash handle करना petty cash कोड देगा transfer කරගෙන තමයි අර ස්පේස් වෙන්නේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? ස්පේස් එකේ දීලා සර්විස් එක ගන්න petty cash එක අරගන්න තව රටකට යන්න. එහෙම සිනාරියෝස් තියෙනවා. එහෙම සිනාරියෝස් තියෙනවා. මම ඊයේ වෙලට දැකලා තියෙනවා. petty cash දීලා කරගන්න යා ගිහින් වෙන රටකට දැමඩ කරලා ගෙන්න ගන්න ලියුම් දානවා එහෙම කරලා පොඩි ගානක් වුණා. So then it's a kind of cumbersome process, very difficult process, right? So then what you have to do is you should have proper detective controls over there. So detective control preventive in that operation. Right. And then that's cash down. Then cash valuation for foreign currency. Normally cash valuation is not a kind of a complex process. Cash valuation accession is not a risky accession, right? Cash valuation, as I said, is straightforward, right? Value of the cash you can see on the face. The value of a chair, value of a building may be complex. But then again, if you have foreign currency, definitely your cash valuation is a kind of complex process. You need to convert that to the presentation currency. Right? So then that conversion $8 should be calculated. So then you have to use the exact, reasonable exchange rate. Exchange rate is another. ඒක ඩිරෙක්ට් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ඉන්ඩිරෙක්ට් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, රෙයාල් කරන්සි වෙන්න පුළුවන්, කොමන් කරන්සි වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේද? So then you have exchange rate. Exchange rate you have kind of a buying rate and selling rate. Buying rate and selling rate. Making manipulate එක මොකක්ද? Buying rate and selling rate. Buying rate and selling rate. Selling rate එක වැඩි. ඒක බයික් කරලා විකුණනවා අඩුවේ විකුණනකොට නේද? ඒක තමයි හිතන්නේ. මේක මීටර වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් අරන් විකුණනවා නම් බයික් කරන රේට් එක අඩු වෙද්දී සෙල් කරන රේට් එක වැඩි යනවා. එහෙමනම් අපේ ඇසෙට් තියෙනවා නම් කෑෂ් තියෙනවා නම් foreign currency as at the reporting date $100 තියෙනවා නම් $100 තියෙනවා නම් මේක කන්වර්ට් කරන්න යූස් කරන්න selling rate එකද buying rate එකද? Buying rate එක. Buying rate එකද? ඔව්. හරි. buying rate එක යූස් කරන්න. Buying rate and selling rate එක කියලා අපි හිතනවා කාට පැත්තටද? බැංක් එකේ පැත්තට, සෙන්ට්‍රල් බැංක් පැත්තට. එයාට buying අපි selling. එයාට selling අපි buying. අපිට සල්ලි තියෙනවා නම් අපේ foreign currency කරන්න නම් local currency කරන්න නම් මොකද කරන්නේ? අපි ගිහින් එයාට දෙන්න ඕන. ඒත් එයාට පැත්තෙන් මොකද ඒක? buy අපි selling. loan එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක කන්වර්ට් කරනවා selling rate. Buy. That we use buying rate. So then in between this rate difference, we have significant cash balance. Our balance sheet is looking at maybe 2 cents, but it will create kind of a 2 million to the balance sheet. So then if you have material foreign currency balance, cash conversion is a critical area you have to focus in. So then what you have to do is, you have to get the confirmation from the bank, commercial bank, which is the main bank which used for your main operation, right? You can get a confirmation what's your buying rate, accordingly you can do the conversion. Process should be there. That's about cash valuation and foreign currency. And then cut-off testing. As I said, yield posting or cash receipt and payments, whatever the cash receipt, cash payment should be recorded to the exact period. That's all about expectation of cash cutoff. We need to do cash cutoff, cash payment cutoff, cash receipt cutoff, check payment, check receipt, fund transfer cutoff. All those things should be perfect. Then what you have to do? Once you are doing cutoff testing, you can get before the reporting date what are the last payment vouchers, first payment vouchers, first receipt numbers, last receipt numbers, first check numbers, last check numbers, first count coin numbers, last count coin numbers. Once you are getting first and last things, check whether you have reported that to the correct period. That's all about cash cutoff. So after having this testing, you are comfortable with they have recorded that cash for that relevant period. Relevant periods. You have to use cash basis, not the accrual basis. Right. It should be cash basis, not the accrual basis. Keep in mind. Right. So then that's about cutoff testing. Cutoff testing similar, right? Once you are doing data cutoff, inventory cutoff, sales cutoff, cash cutoff, revenue cutoff. Cutoff is always this focusing about the exact period. So then what you have to do is you have to select last source documents, first source documents, check the accuracy of the report. So then disclosure requirements, cash related disclosure requirements. Basically, cash is a financial asset, right? And then cash and cash equivalent, cash and cash flow statement, related activities, investment activities, and then financing activities. You should have proper understanding. And direct method, indirect method, if you have restricted cash, how are you going to disclose? There are cash commitments, restricted cash, cash, restricted. Or saving account එකක් තියෙනවා. අපි saving account එකක් තියෙනවා. Saving account එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකේ minimum 10,000 තියෙනවා. ඒක ගන්න බෑ. ඒක restricted cash. loan එකක් ගන්නකොට open කරන්න minimum 10,000. ගන්න බැන්න ඒක restricted cash. That should be disclosed. ඒතකොට liquidity එක එකෙන් බෑ. සමහර cash තියෙනවා loan එක ඉවරද ඒ cash account එක use කරන්න බෑ 50,000 තියෙනවා use කරන්න. So then it's a restricted cash that should be separately disclosed. Right. One cash count කරන්නේ bank එකක. bank එකේ cash count කරන්නේ locker එකේ. safety locker එකේ මේක එකට අදාළ නැහැ. safety locker එකේ තියෙනවා මේ cash bundle. cash bundle තියෙනවා අලුත්ම cash bundle. එනනම් මේ cash එක. ඒ cash bundle අවදාවත් ගන්න නැහැ. ගන්න ඒකේ මොකද තියෙන්නේ? ඒක විදිහට මේකේ cash note එකේ තියෙන number එක. හරිද? මේ number එක මේ cash paid cash න numbers ගන්න record කරන් ඉන්න. මේ numbers තමයි මේවයි තියෙන්නේ. මේක අලුත්ම cash. උඩ මොකද වෙන්නේ? මේ මොනවා හරි සිටුේෂන් එකක් ඇවිල්ලා ලොක එක robbery එකක් වුණා. මේ කෑෂ් අරගෙන ගියොත් මම ට්‍රැක්ටර් එකේ දෙන්නේ කෑෂ්. ඔය කියලා දැම්මත් ඒ කෑෂ් ටික අපුවට. දැන් ඔයා බැංක් එකක් නම්බර් එකක් කරන්න යනවනේ. දැන් මට තියාගන්න කාර්යයක් කරලා ඒ කෑෂ් ටික ගන්න එපා. හොඳද? ඒක ගන්න නැතුව අනෙක් ටික ගන්න. ඒක කියන්නේ අසල් ගහන්න එළියෙන් නම් වෙන්නේ නැහැ ඔයා අපුවට දෙන්න. හරිද? ඒ වගේ කන්ට්‍රෝල්ස් තියෙනවා. CCTV තියෙනවා, lockers තියෙනවා. ඔය යනවා නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් මාස්ක් එකක් දාන්න කියලා අපිට. ඉක්මනට එකක් දාන්න ඕනේ. ඒක නම් try කරන්න. ඒ වගේ කන්ට්‍රෝල්ස් තියෙනවා. දාන්න. right. Yes. Audit එකේදී මොනිටර් ටික ගන්නවා ඒ ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් දේවල් වලට ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන්. ලා කෑෂ් ඩවුන් කරලා ලා කෑෂ් වෙන්න. ලා කරලා දෙනකොට ඒ එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකම දෙන්න නැහැ සෝරි. at least 8% නේද? 3% share that. Choose the disclosure requirements. Disclosure requirements we discussed. It depends on the company. Some of the cash balances will have kind of a guarantee, kind of pledge cash balance. So then we disclose that. The other thing is classification, really important. Whether it's cash out, cash equivalent. That's really important. As I said last week, less than 3 months, less than 3 month financial instrument is a cash and cash equivalent. Less than 3 months. Okay, that's the balam. 3 months, sir. හරියට මතකද See, so then that's what once you are searching just Google, you may get the outdated standard. You need to go to the other website and to get the exact standard. Then only you can see. So then cash and cash equivalent clearly says that therefore investment normally qualifies as a cash equivalent only when it has short maturity of say 3 months or less from the date of acquisition. Equity investment are excluded from cash equivalents unless they are in substance cash equivalents. For example, in case preferred shares acquired within a short period of their maturity and with a specified redemption date. So then equity items we don't consider as cash investment. Over the standard gentleman but side taken. Slack.lp. Sadarnani Institute එකේ site එක තමයි slack.lp. එකෙන් තමයි standard ගන්න. So then I'll ask a question. So you have a FP, 5-year FP, 5-year FP started from 2020. 2021. Year 2021. Year FP. We have invested there like 2021, Jan, 2021 January 5th. Have invested. 2021 to Jan 4, 1 year. 2023 Jan 4. this company financial year January to December. January to December. Now we are working on 2024 financials. So then you can see that 2020 this is kind of a 4 year instrument. 2025 and 4 the maturity. So then 2023 January, 24 January, you are going to December, you are going to close the financials. 2025 Jan 4, this will be matured. What level is IPL? We have a financial instrument, 50, 4 year maturity, started from 2021 Jan 5. 2021, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 years will be completed 2025 5 Jan 4. 2025 Jan 4. This is 2024 2025 Jan 4. Now you are in 2024. We are going to close this financial year. Financial year end, first Jan to 36. My question is, once you are finalizing this financials, you know that within another 4 days, this FD will be matured. In another 4 days, this FD will be matured. Are we considering this as cash and cash equivalent? Cash and cash equivalent or less from the date of acquisition. Date of acquisition. 3 months date of acquisition. Acquisition date के लिए बिना चेक करते हैं. तो acquisition date के लिए is from the investment. So that contract only change during the period. Right? It's a fixed deposit. So up until the last day, up until converting to the cash, that will be a fixed deposit. Because FD can be rolled over, right? So then you can, again you can put as a FD. So then that practice also there. This is still a fixed deposit. So we measure the instrument based on the acquisition date tenor. Right? Acquisition date, if you have 3 months, it means you have less than 3 months, the cash income. And 2 months FD, if you have 2 months FD, it may be a cash income. Cash and cash. Okay. But it's only for 1 year, 1 month to mature. This is not a cash and cash income. Keep in mind. Accordingly, you should have proper understanding to do proper classification. Understanding. Investment to cash classification. Really important. Right? Okay. So then that's all about cash. We have discussed most of the cases. Standard requirement, bank statement, reconciliation, cash count, uh, cash related documentation, working එකක් මම එවන්නම්. Working එකක් එවන්නම්. So then I will share type of confirmation log, confirmation request address එවන්න පුළුවන්. Then let's share most of the information. Okay. Other thing is, once you are calling confirmations, better to send open confirmation. Open positive confirmation. Open positive. We bank के may account के balance transfer करने के लिए you are going to say that. So whatever the company confirm all the bank accounts related to this company. So then, if you are having off balance sheet transaction, now book setting up definitely it will be disclosed. But a confirmation again about the matter, our account setting up. So all the assets is done. We have discussed non-current assets, current assets, non-current assets, fixed assets, intangible, receivable, inventory, cash, all the balances. I hope you are comfortable with the procedures of these balances. Now we are going to verify what are the procedure of the approach, TOC, substandard procedures, you should know what it is. Now we are moving to the asset side, to the liability. Right? Asset side we had overstatement risk. Here we have understatement risk. Trade payables and accruals. Trade payables and accruals. Trade payable. Trade payable is a financial liability. Financial liability. Right? Other accruals is not a financial liability. That is payable. Maybe tax payable, provision. Those are not financial liability. We have a commitment here. Trade payable, we have a commitment to pay cash out exactly. Sometimes the father is a financial liability. Right? Trade payables depends on the nature of the entity. You may have a trade payable. You don't have credit basis purchases, credit purchases. You don't have trade payable lines. The only scenario is you do purchase credit basis, but it will be having trade payables. Right? It's a liability. Then it should be recorded to your financial statement exactly. So then you can't miss this payable because it's kind of a understatement risk. What's the risk you have? Intentionally you can miss this trade payable transaction. This is linked with the purchases. Purchases. Purchases related control is linked with the trade payables. Purchase debit, credit to trade payables. So if you are having proper controls around purchases, definitely it will cover the trade payable. Right. That's the nature of the trade payable balance. You can, let's say it's a manufacturing company. Vendors payable balances, right? It is a service rendering company. Whatever the materials you are using for services, so then you are having a trade payable balance. This trade payable balance, you can keep that as a sub-ledger, and main ledger. This control account should be processed with these sub-ledger balances, right? So that if you are using kind of a two parties here, it's a kind of a control you can use. Sub-ledger main control, right? Your trade payable balance, meaning that basically cash payment and credit, cash payment and credit sale. Cash payment and credit sale. If you are getting kind of a discount, cash discount, it will balance it decide when we make transaction making. What are transaction? Cash payments and credit purchase. Cash payment, credit purchase related control will be back to this balance. So once you are going through the accessions, existence, completeness, right identification, and valuation, cutoff, and presentation and disclosure. The accessions, mostly completeness, existence, very important, right? This is how you can see in the balance sheet. Note number 70. Once you are going to note number 70, you are having trade payable, other payables, and trade payables you may have related party payables, right? Related party payables, they have proper classification. So then, procedures. What are the procedures? Mostly you should depend on the client control approach. Client control approach. POC plus substantive procedures. Why? This is a balance we are dealing with most of the time with the financial periods. We are having transaction very often. Like continuously you have transaction with this. Right? So then after TOC, you can start substandard procedures. Once you are doing TOC, basically controls inventory purchases. Purchases related controls, payment related controls, control payment handling, and then control related to record all the liabilities. The recording process. What are the controls you have to check? Controls related to purchases, control related to payments, control related to PL. And then other than that, if you have kind of a vendor registration process, VIS process. VIS, vendor integrity screening, vendor identity screening process. VIS process setup here. And the vendor identify the registered vendors that will try to pay කරන්න පුළුවන්. What a pay කරන්න පුළුවන් company එකේ system එක තියෙනවා. Let's say that system එකේ vendor කෙනෙක් register වෙනවා. Register කරන process එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක identity card numbers කියලා තියෙනවා. Know your customer. KYC fill කරලා know your customer name, know your vendor. Vendor identification process. So they are money laundering කරන්නේ. They are cash earn කරපු and they are understanding. Then only you can pay a kind of a payment to that vendor. Vendor registration. One thing is once you are having kind of a service, you have to select registered vendor. And what a A4 ගන්න වෙනවා. දැන් sample එක කියලා ගන්න. sample එකට A4 order. A4 ගන්න හරියට කියලා කියනවද දැන්? වාට රෙජිස්ටර් වෙච්ච A4 විකුණන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා 4 දෙනෙක්. 1 2 3 4 කියලා. අගේ procurement process එකේ කියනවා if you have registered vendors, all kind of a quotation, at least 3 quotations. 3 quotations. Through this 3 quotations, do evaluation. So are you going to select the less amount? No. You have to select the quality as well. What's the paper quality, delivery time? Are they giving on time? All those things are the factors, right? Service everything. While I get exam එකක් වෙනවා අද papers print කරන්න කොළ නැහැ. Right? කොළ නැත්නම් ඔයා order කරනවා නම් මොකද? මෙයාගේ මාර අඩුවේ A4 කොළයක් බුක් කියලා. හැබැයි එන්න සතියක් විතර යනවා. ඒක මොකද? වාට paper එක virtual දීලා තමයි print කරලා දෙන්නේ තව සතියක්. So then based on the requirement, you need to decide who is the vendor you have to select. So that should be approved by the organization. This type of processes are there around vendors, right? Creditors, right? So then we have to do this COC and you can move to substandard procedures. Under substandard procedures, first one, calling confirmation. It's also outside party. What you can do is select a sample and call direct confirmation from vendors, creditors. Creditor confirmation, right? If you don't get any confirmation letters, reply letters, what you have to do is you can check subsequent settlements. Meet the current subsequent settlements. Receivables, sir. These subsequent settlements are making another receipt. Credited receivable. What is it? What is our right? Right? Application is with us. Keep in mind. Checking a sample of invoices. If you don't have any subsequent settlement, and take the sample of invoices, payment, not payment vouchers, kind of invoices. There was purchase invoices, good receive notes. So then fourth one, it's really important, put the star mark, unrecorded liability listing. So then that's the area you can be tested at exam, URL, unrecorded liability listing. URL. So then you should know how you are going to perform unrecorded liability listing. Unrecorded liability listing. URL. What will the unrecorded liability listing? What you have to do is select main cash payment account. Current account. Select main cash payment account and obtain subsequent month payments. Subsequent month payments. It may be subsequent month or 2 months or 3 months. Subsequent month payment. Study the range of transactions. Select main cash payment account. Obtain subsequent month payments. Study the range of the transactions. Identify material amounts related to the previous period. Check the GL posting. ඕන තරම් ලියා ගන්න පුළුවන් ඉතින් යම් විදිහට. මොකද කරන්න ඕන? ඔයා ෆයිනෑන්ස් මේ ඕන විදිහට ලියා ගන්න. ඔයාගේ ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් පීරියඩ් එක තියෙනවා right? ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් පීරියඩ් එක තියෙනවා 2024. ඔයා මොකද කරන්න ඕන? මෙන්න මේ පීරියඩ් එකේ subsequent period එකේ subsequent period එකේ 2025 2 months අරගෙන ඒකේ main cash payment book එක අරගෙන ඒ book එකේ payment side එක study the nature of transaction කියන පැත්තට දාලා payments right identify material amount related to previous period payment study කරලා මොකද කරන්න ඕන subsequent period එකේ payment study කරලා ඔයා බලා ගන්න මොනවද identify material amounts related to previous period මේ period එකේ ගෙවලා තියෙන මේ period එක අරගෙන ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ එතකොට what තේරෙන්න ඕනද so whatever the payments which was done after the reporting date is related to a previous period, that should be recognized as a liability at this point. Right? If there's no, once you are checking the GL posting, they have transferred that payment to this period, not to this period. Please show, as at this date, it's a unrecorded liability. You have to record that unrecorded liability. So whatever the expenses related to this period should be recorded by the double entry, expense debit, credit to the creditor balance. Once you are paying here, cash credit, debit to that creditor account, not to P&L of this period. So that's all about what you are adjusting. මේක check කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකට වාගේ දෙන case study එකේ තියෙන case එක අනුව මේක suggest කරන්න. මේ step 5 standard එකේ මෙහෙම කියලා දෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ step 5 ලියන්න පුළුවන් step 10 එකේ. Now understanding the comment. So how we are going to perform unrecorded liability testing. Right? Okay. And then cutoff testing. Creditor cutoff, vendor cutoff. Then again, you have a period. What you have to do is your creditor payments and credit purchase would receive notes. Credit purchase notes you have to collect last ERN, first ERN. You can understand what's the period they have recorded. Have we recorded correctly? So then these two, unrecorded liability testing and cutoff testing, achieving same goal. Right? Unrecorded liability testing supporting to the correct cutoff. So then if we have recorded all the liabilities, cutoff testing may be fine. So then what you have to do is, you have to select first ERN, last ERN, first creditor payment, last creditor payments, check whether those have been updated to GLO. The requirement is all the creditor payments, cash credit purchases should be recorded to the exact period. Right? That's all about cutoff testing and then related disclosure requirement. Right? That's about payables, creditor payables, purchase liabilities, basically, current liabilities. Plus, you may have accruals. Accruals, I'm not going to discuss here. We don't have much procedures. Accrual, what you have to do? You have to check the basis. Basis, person who did the accrual. Then that basis should be reliable and justifiable. So then let's say you have put you are making a kind of accrual for this electricity. Last month electricity accrual. So what's the basis you have to use? You can have out with the hammer master. Average. Master average 1 million, 3 million, there's no basis. Whatever the accrual, what's the control direction? The basis. And the related evidence accruals should be checked. Because it is clear. Better check the accruals and inventory purchases. Trade papers and accruals. Accruals procedures with the accruals depends on the accrual. You can't say that accrual may be some kind of a common word. Accrual for electricity, accrual for taxes, accrual for different expenses. It depends on the nature of the expense. So then now you have kind of a sense about auditing. Then you can suggest. You can determine the procedures. Accrual is the balance. Real expenses are the check. Again, last year, and goal provide you can see the progress, right? But approval is last year. Last 11 months, election period 500,000 average. So then we made the 500,000 approval. The anti March and 1.2 million. Company anti March product extension production value. Then our approval is at this now, approval you have approval basis. So then the subsequent results should be cross-checked with the approval amount. Right? So short-term liabilities completion, accruals and trade payables, and if you are having long-term liabilities, long-term liabilities like debentures, loan, borrowing, the recommended approach is full substantive approach. Make an idea. Make a straightforward dealer. Purchases and revenue. I make a dealer. It's pretty straightforward. Why? Water debate, check up, loan, check up, borrowing, check up, not pati, after that, agreement 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 open loan agreement एक बेस करना amortization schedule amortization schedule बेस करना payment करना payment बेस करना ये क्या control process government මේ process එකේ transaction වෙන්න පුළුවන් අවුරුද්දකට 50ක් විතර loan දෙකක් තිබුණොත් 48යි right 34 ඇතුළතදී තව loan එකක් ගත්තොත් ඒකේ approval බලන්න so then very අපේ step එක තියන්න very common to each and every organization approval for the loan granting approval within the budget approval for the cash payment, installment payment, approval for the interest calculation, approval for the generated costing. That's it. So then if you have kind of a borrowing balance, this should be verified and then classification, current and non-current classification. Financial statement disclosure classification should be done properly. Right? So then you have to do full substantive approach for borrowings normally. Basically, we do full substantive approach. Right? So then capital. Share capital and retained earnings. We have not discussed this. It's a limited risk account, right? Limited risk account, right? We don't have much transactions. We don't want to do much audit procedures. If you have a share issue, check that share issue related evidence, approvals, cash receipts. If we have kind of right issue or bonus issue, check the related evidence and board minutes. That's it. Other than that, it's a limited risk account. We don't discuss any other procedure related to time. Why? It's a limited risk account. So then, all balance sheet we done. Current asset, current long-term asset, current liabilities, long-term liabilities, stated capital. For balance sheet, we have that understanding now. What is procedures related to balance sheets. So then we are moving to P&L. P&L, that's about revenue and purchases. Revenue and purchases, right? Revenue and purchases. Purchases later. Purchases and expenses. Current liabilities පහළ තියෙනවා. අන්න ඒක උඩට එනවා. Again, audit procedures for TOC plus substantive කියලා තියෙන්නේ. Debentures ඒක කතා කරන්නේ. Procedures for revenue. So, procedures about revenue. Revenue is a kind of a very important balance. So that's entity, this is the key cash inflow. Whatever the organization, even the profit-making organization, they don't have revenue. But the difference is revenue nature may be different. Revenue type. Only difference is that revenue type. Revenue type. It may be service, it may be sales, it may be rent, it may be type of commission, interest. different type of income sources may be there. Revenue sources. Yes, as an entity, they should have proper controls around that. As auditor, we have a kind of a default audit risk related to this area. Default audit risk is there. This concept is really important. As auditor, there's a default audit risk related to revenue. Default fraud risk is there. Default fraud risk. Relates to revenue. Default fraud risk. What is that? There's a, you know the word risk. There's a doubt about fraud relating to revenue. It's a kind of a default. Why? By default, we can default the default settings here. The word open default before you are starting the audit, it's observed, it's a kind of a fixed term that revenue relates to fraud risk. It is a kind of profit making entity. Profit making entity. Always there's a pressure to make profit and make majority of the cases, all the KPIs will depend on the profitability and the revenue, right? So then management always trying to overstate revenue. They can manipulate revenue. Because of that, there's a fraud risk relating to revenue. That's a kind of default audit risk. So we stand the capability now. What is the main fraud risk leader response? If you want to rebut this, you should have a rebuttable presumption. This is a presumption. Yeah. This is a fraud risk presumption. It's not an assumption, it's a presumption. Presumption about fraud risk. If you go to this is a kind of a rebuttable presumption. Rebuttable presumption. If you want to rebut, what you have to do? You have to properly document. You have to document it properly. Document it properly. As auditor, you have to justify that. Let's say your revenue process relating to a kind of apartments. You have 3-story buildings, right? Story buildings. You are having, let's say, 5 apartments. 5 apartments are there. 5 apartments, we have 5 agreements. So 5 agreements. So then at the market they will put the rate. Straightforward, right? Very straightforward. There is no complexity. If it is so simple process, no need to have kind of a complex process. Let's say you are doing power and energy business. Power and energy business or power generator, you are giving that to the national grid. So once you are giving to the national grid, it will be recorded from the CEB and end of the month they will send the invoice. So then for the 12 months you have 12 invoices, based on that you have to define the revenue. So then your revenue will be confirmed by a third party. So then the simple revenue process, you can't mislead it. It is so, it's maybe kind of a very simple revenue process. If you are having simple revenue process as auditor, what you can do? You can rebut this presumption. Right? Why the fraud related to the revenue? Fraud, you know that there's a fraud triangle. Opportunity, pressure, rationalization. Opportunity, pressure, and rationalization. Through the fraud, there's a pressure. As a revenue, there's a pressure. Because of that, they do fraudulent activities, right? So then as auditor, what can do is fraud related audit procedures also should be account for revenue balance, right? Revenue balance. While the interval one is the interval can tanggal washroom juga ni, ya. Ice tea ni orang tu. Itu dah langsung mana kita ni. Right. Revenue, understand it. Now we know the revenue is basically the structure, nature of the balance, right? So it's for the period balance, not a state asset balance. Then we are focusing about occurrence and measurement, not the existence and valuation. Occurrence and the measurement, right? Uh, and then under revenue, as you all know that in an every company should have a proper process, revenue process. That process should include different set of controls, different set of controls. Then that control should be address different risks. So then key risk we need to address is what? Revenue, revenue recognition. That's the important part. How we are going to recognize the revenue. Then other than that, you may have different controls related to revenue. Uh, Revenue recognition is the key area you need to address through controls. Revenue recognition. Revenue recognition under we had LKAS 18 previously, right? And that's revenue standard. Revenue. This discuss about the point of risk and reward. At the point of transferring risk and reward, we should recognize the risk and reward. But as per SLFRS 15, we have a proper mechanism about revenue recognition. It's telling that, it's guiding us to recognize the revenue according to a 5-step model. 5-step model. Right? Revenue with customers, SLFRS 15. Most of the revenue sources will be covered, will be guided by this standard. SLFRS 15 scope discuss about what are the out of scope revenue. Don't use the standard for this type of out of scope revenue. What are they? It may be insurance, it may be leasing, it may be bank interest. All those things are not under 15. So then you can go to SLFRS 15 scope out areas. No 15. Entity shall apply this standard all contract with customers except for following. Except for following. Important. එනවා දැනගන්න ඕන 15 මේවට අදාළ වෙන්නේ. What are they? It may be contract with lease, contract, insurance contract, SLFRS 4, financial instrument, patent application, SLFRS 9, non-monetary exchange between entities in same line of business, facility sales, customer, potential customers. For example, standard would not apply to contract between two oil companies that agree to exchange of oil, fulfill demand and customers in different special locations and timely basis. Right? This type of arrangements will not cover through this standard. Other than that, whatever the revenue sources will be covered through this standard. Right? So then you can say that 90% revenue may be covered through this standard, right? Through 5-step model. You know, right? 5-step model? දන්නව නේද? 5-step model කියලා search කරලා දෙනවා Google වල. The identification of the contract. Identification of the contract. Identify the separate performance obligation. Determine the transaction price. Allocate transaction price between performance obligation. Recognize the revenue according to the fulfillment of the obligation. Satisfaction of the obligation. These are the 5-step model. This 5-step model should be split, designed according to the nature of the organization. They have to have separate controls to do this within the company process according to the nature of the business. The way you are counting, identifying price for service contract may differ with some item, right? So then that should be determined based on the respective process. So then accordingly, revenue process should be developed based on the 5-step model. Basically, the principle behind the revenue process is the 5-step model. You have to evaluate that, right? The 5-step වලින් කියන්නේ මොනවද කියලා තේරෙලා තියෙනවද? Identify the contract. That contract may be verbal, implied, kind of virtual contract may be there, right? And then that contract should be included performance obligation. That should be a performance obligation, right? And accordingly, determine the transaction price and allocate transaction price to performance obligation and recognize the revenue according to the satisfaction about the obligation. So then, this is kind of a lengthy process. Make a අපි කඩේකට ගිහින් මොන හරි item එකක් purchase කරනවා ice cream එකක් ගන්න. Ice cream එකක් ගන්න. So once you are buying ice cream, you are completing this 5 steps. That's a contract. What's a contract? You buy ice cream, you are going to pay for that. You are getting ice cream. That's a contract. What ice cream में satisfaction එකක් දෙනවා. ඒකට ඔයා මෙච්චර ගණන් pay කරනවා. ඒක තමයි agreement එක. Performance obligation එක මොකක්ද? Giving a ice cream to maximize satisfaction. The price very straightforward, maybe 250. So then, performance obligation will be satisfied within not 5 minutes, within 2 minutes. You can recognize this 250 within this 2 minutes. It's very simple process. Simple process. Within the simple process, determining 5-step model will be very easy. Very easy. But if you are in a complex transaction, some of the contracts you may have different performance obligations. You may have 2 separate performance obligations. You may have multiple performance obligations. Multiple performance obligations. You may have multiple performance obligations. Within one contract, you may have multiple performance obligations. So then what you have to do? You have to identify separate performance obligations. You have to identify separate performance obligations, and the transaction price should be divided to these separate performance obligations. According to the performance obligation, you have to recognize the revenue. Right? That should be done. So then, what are the 2 separate performance obligations? Different performance obligations. What type of? Can you give me an example, please? Take a contract again. Performance obligation. Take a example. What will you get? One bundle product එකක් So the correct example. vehicle එකක් purchase කරනවා. vehicle එකක් purchase කරනවා. vehicle එක purchase කරනකොට වාට දෙනවා 1 year service free service vehicle 1 year free service එකක් දෙනවා. තව vehicle එකත් එක්කම වාට 5 year free service එකක් ගන්නවා. Or additional 1 million pay කරනවා. additional 1 million taken. Right? So then you should identify what is the performance obligation, how you can identify the price. Here 25 million, 25 million, 25 million. Altogether 26 million. So then as you think that you better use this 5 free service, we are planning to pay 26 million today to purchase the vehicle. Right? To purchase the vehicle. And from the seller side, they sell this to me for 26 million. I am paying cash 26 million. We are discussing revenue, not purchases, fixed assets. Right? So then we are worrying about seller side. Revenue side is about it. Take it clearly. Revenue side. Revenue side. That's a double entry. Cash debit 26 million. Revenue credit how much? Revenue credit how much? Is that 26? That out. 26 is that out. But ice cream may take only 2 minutes now. It is 26 credit revenue. But here, your obligation will split more than 1 year. More than 1 year. Here we are having two separate performance obligations. Two separate performance obligations. Here we have bundle obligation. Vehicle plus 1 year free service. It's a one obligation. That's the price for that 25 million. We are adding another four years. It's another 1 million. For this service, you have to pay 1 million. You have a separate price. This is a separate performance obligation. Separate performance obligation. So then, today you are giving this vehicle for 26 million. From that performance obligation, you have two performance obligations, 1 and 2. From 1, still you have not fulfilled the 1. Why? You have given the vehicle, you have not given the free services. You have another 1 year to recognize that. Then 25, you need to split 25 for vehicle, maybe 24 with the 1 million for service. So then you can only recognize 24. Sorry. Yeah, 24. And 1 million for free service. Or make a sell करेगा तो कितना देता है? और sell करेगा कितना लोग? December 30th. December 30th sell करेगा. Okay. इसी खातराई vehicle लेकर एक का free service से कमान लिया. आणि years खातरा है का? Total बिसी है. Cash हमको बिसी है. So then cash debit, credit, revenue दान होता है. Revenue दान बिसी खातरा बिसी खातरा बिसी है. First. So then from the contract, from the obligation, you have fulfilled only this 30th December now, right? 30th December now. So then, whatever the remaining 2 should be recognized as a deferred income. It's a kind of a liability. Is that logical? Yes. Why? Then December 30th. 30th December, you are doing the sales transaction. So the another 1 year means 2025. 2025. You have given kind of a free service. Free service. So the free service is there liability is main period again. A period again liability again ना. Liability again ना. What free service का करना now? Free service का करना now. So then you have to incur a cost here. You have to incur a cost. For that, from the revenue, you should have a revenue element to deduct this. Right? නැත්නම් ඔයා මේ 25ම මේකට දාගත්තොත් මේ අවුරුද්දේ revenue part එක. ඊට මේ අවුරුද්දේ cost එක. At the point of your fulfilling your obligation, you don't have a revenue element. So then what you have to do? You have to split your revenue according to the obligation. So then you had 25, 24 already done. How much is delivered? Recognize the revenue 24. One transfer to this year. One transfer to another 4 years. Right? After 1 year, you are recognizing 0.25 million. What I mean, I will service. Service all obligation given. So then pure revenue, no cost. Right? So the simple, you need to identify the performance obligation. Accordingly, you will have to recognize the revenue. So that's what it's clearly saying. It's very meaningful, right? There was a figure now. Yeah. Amazon figure. I have this one. Was transportation in the පාවිච්චි කරලා තමයි එන්නේ. ගෙදර ඉඳලා කැලේ ආසින් ඇවිල්ලා නේද? බොරුවේ නැගලා ඇවිල්ලා නේද? පාරුවේ ඇවිල්ලා පොන්චි ඇවිල්ලා බස් එකේ ඇවිල්ලා ෆයින් ටිකක් ඇවිල්ලා තමයි සැප් එකට. Fair enough. You are coming here 845. Inherent limitation. What they are suggesting? We are giving a degree for 1 million. 1 million we are giving the degree. If we want to have a hostel, you can give that a hostel facility nearby the campus. What is it? අටේ ලෙක්කේකට 8යි 10යි මෙන්ටල් එකක් පුළුවන්. ඒත් මිට වඩා කලින් වෙයි. මොකක්ද කියවන්න ඕනේ? කීයද? You can pay 1.5 million. What a campus then? So then, how about that? Degree plus the hostel. Two separate performance obligations. For the degree 1 million, for the hostel 0.5 million. So then, how are we going to recognize the revenue? You need to fulfill the performance obligation. So then, 1.5 million ආපු දවසේ ස්ටුඩන්ට් දාගන්නවද P&L එකට? නෑ, මේ ළමයා ඉන්ටර්නෙට් දාන්නේ නෑ, ඩිග්‍රී කම්ප්ලීට් කරන්නේ නෑ. So then, throughout these 4 years, after you giving your service, insurance contract is complex. What are performance obligations here? A insurance contract what is scope out करते in an insurance contract, let's say life insurance contract, you have different performance obligations. What are they? But life insurance is then one passe salary देने salary life insurance एक salary देने वाले passe में भी एक वाले salary काम में ये बढ़िया है। अबे वाहन इंश्योरेंस कराने पास salary आ गया पास salary आ गया है वाहन इंश्योरेंस कराना that is short term general insurance, this is long term life insurance. Long term life insurance product है what FD वाली element का FD का cash deposit කරලා පස්සේ interest එකත් එක්ක සල්ලි හම්බෙනවා. ඒකේ free service එකක්, banking service එකක්, financial instrument service එකක්. Okay? يعني මේ පිය කරගෙන invest කරනවා. banking service එකක් කරනවා. So banking service එකක් දෙනවා. financial instruments. Water life cover එකක් දෙනවා කියනවා නේ. මරණොත් මෙච්චර දෙනවා. ආනද water. ඔලේ ගන්න. ඔයාගේ අත කැඩුනොත් දකුණු අතට මෙච්චරයි වම් අතට මෙච්චරයි වම් පැත්තට මෙච්චරයි දකුණු පැත්තට මෙච්චරයි අත් දෙකටම මෙච්චරයි කියන්නේ. හරිද? ඒක මොකද්ද? It's an insurance cover. Insurance service. What cover කියනවා hospitalized වුණොත් හරිද? What hospital එකේ ඉන්න දෙනවා, අන්න දෙනවා, හරිද? බොන්න දෙනවා. එහෙද? There hospital. No one hospital එකක් පවයි කොහොමද? hospital එකක් service එකක් වගේ නේද? හරි. So then one contract you are having three performance obligations. Three performance obligations. Three performance obligations. මේ ලස්සන පද දෙන්නේ. Three performance obligations should be treated from three different standards. This is SLFRS 15. This is SLFRS 17. Still we are not going to implement it. It will be implemented in 2026. Globally we have implemented, but as a whole country we have yet to be implemented. It will be SLFRS 9. So the contract के cash flow එක තුනට බෙදලා revenue identify කරලා separately recognize කරලා each and every contract. How much is it complex? Yes, it's so complex. It's really difficult. So then, if you are being an accountant in the insurance contract, you are being an accountant or auditor in insurance field, maybe the most complex area. How to account insurance contract by using three different standards. Right? It's not that much easy. Because same contract, same cash flow, we have to split and recognize revenue by using different method. Here, effective interest rates EIR. Here, CSM, contractual service margin. Here, profitability. Different terminologies, different ratios. How we are going to split these cash flows? All about judgment and contractual terms, estimates. Is really complex. So then that's why your role is vital to make decisions and to do audit and do financial recording, because this type of complexities are there. Right? Okay, so that's all about recognition the revenue. Because of that complexity, SLFRS 15 scoped out this. Full out. So 17 data मैं use करना तो बड़ा नहीं. 17 लगे के नॉन है. Product देगा. Product classification देगा. Bundle का unbundle कराना. Bundle देना. Product classify कराना. So product के CAL 17, CAL 9, CAL 15. So need to have granular level information to do this. Right? So then that's about 5-step model combination. Right? What is the first key? अभी ना किस हाथ में क्या McDonald's ना नहीं McDonald's है ना यही अंदर एक कैलपेनर के साथ McDonald's है EWC है हम गियर दिए दिए रखे देगा දැන් වාගෙන් ඇහුවොත් අපි දියුණු වෙමින් පවතින රටක් developing country. ඒකට data set example කිව්වොත් අර FBA කියන example කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයා කියනවා පොඩ rationalistic example. As a rationalistic example. So that for the global, we have big four. For us, we have only big three. Right? It's an indication of a poor country. It's an indication of a poor country. Each and every country, not each and every country, most of the countries, like MC, McDonald's, they do have operation, but here they don't have McDonald's. If foreigner comes and asks where's the McDonald's, you have to tell that we don't have McDonald's here. Why? We had that, but now it's not available. Reason should be explained. Likewise, we have seen this. So then that list, your list should be very different with others. Should be address the four aspects. I don't want to explain this. Let's say we had McDonald's, right? We had McFries, and then burgers. So then in burger, we had bundled products. Burger එකක් ගන්නකොට නේද ලාව එකයි කෝක් එකයි එනවා කොහොමද? මොනවද? කියන්නේ මේවට කොහොමද හම්බෙන්නේ? Those packets. Lanka සාල්තු දාගෙන. ඒවා හම්බෙන්නේ. Sauce packet හම්බෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ bundle product එකක් හම්බෙනවා. ඒකට කියනවා නිකන් meal එකක් කියලා නේද? meal එකක් කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ mac meal එකක්. mac meal එකක් right 6000 mac meal එකක් 6000. අපි මේක separate කරලා ගත්තොත් මේක ගන්න එක 7500. නේද? bundle කරලා දෙනකොට අඩු කරලා දෙනවා meal එක. මොකද ඒක කරන්නේ? So then here we have different performance obligations. One may need like so you are giving rice and beverages and then dessert and everything you are here we have starter, everything. It's included a kind of a meal, right? So then in this meal we have two different obligations. And for this price included different performance obligations. But at once, within 5 minutes, you are delivering this. There's no performance obligation difference. What I make a meal like a